Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. And man, as Nick just said before we started, we need 3 hours today. Maybe we will go 3 hours. Who knows? Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see what we do. Welcome in. Was not a good day or weekend for my teams. I don't know about your teams, but my team, it was a rough weekend for Florida State. With that, up to the Buccaneers. The Rays finish the season at 0-4, and one of the most embarrassing interviews, statements by an outgoing owner I can possibly remember that we're going to get into. Fully supported by a media that continues to allow these false narratives just to be thrown out there, and it's an insult to Rays fans everywhere. We'll get into that. What went down with the Buccaneers? A crazy day in the NFL again. College football, the Ryder Cup. I don't know if I've ever seen more drama, more storylines, more insanity in an incredible comeback. So all this to get to. So settle in, get into the comments. We're going to get to all your comments and questions. If you have any of those, you know how to do that. You can do that on YouTube, on X, go to @JP Peterson Show, or you could do it on Facebook as well. We're all over the place. So good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How was your weekend? Hopefully better than mine.
Not much better, JP. Like you, none of my teams, and we basically share the same teams for the most part. I just add on UCF to it, so I got another heartbreak added to it. None of the teams won, and I even told my wife, I even told Casey after last week, and I was like, all my football teams are 3-0. All my fantasy football teams are 3-0. I even won the NFL Pick'em for like the second time in 5 years that I do with my friends.
Damn.
Already. And I was like, this is going to come crashing down very, very soon. And of course, this weekend, it all unraveled. I mean, I won nothing football related. No Pick'em, no fantasy. All the football teams lost. It's the way it goes. So that's one part. And the second part, I have to get this off my chest at the top of the show. Hand up. I'm gonna hand up and admit to this. I want to take responsibility for what happened yesterday at Raymond James Stadium, because I made a big no-no decision an hour and a half before kickoff, JP.
What happened? What'd you do?
I went to my local deli, Danny's Deli, over here in Lithia.
No, you didn't get a Philly cheesesteak.
Danny is from Philly. He is an Eagles fan. And I ordered a Philly cheesesteak. I did it. On the day that they played the Eagles, I had a Philly cheesesteak.
Was it worth it?
It was really good. It was really, really good. He's got the bread, the authentic bread with the sesame seeds and all of it.
Amoroso rolls? Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good, but I knew I was tempting fate, and so I'm going to take it on the chin today. It was me.
He doesn't use Cheese Whiz, does he?
No.
Provolone? No, provolone, right?
No. Provolone, okay. Of course.
Just checking. Can't have that audacity. Well, it wasn't your fault. As we get into the Buccaneers yesterday, it was not your fault. We'll start with Riley Dixon, who I don't understand.
Never good when you're starting with the punter. Never good when you're starting with the punter.
9 years into an NFL career, did anybody not notice that he takes a long time to get the ball off? Is this something new? Why would we go out and get a free agent kicker who takes that long to get rid of his punts? Because it just seems really long. And it's even longer when your long snapper doesn't block anybody right up the middle. Something that clearly is an issue 2 weeks in a row in terms of block kicks. That can't happen. Cannot happen. And it was you're just at this point you're just playing from behind, and it's bad juju. Now it certainly was not the only reason that the Bucs lost yesterday. And there was a lot of good in what happened yesterday, but too much bad. And I kind of hinted at this all week long that the injuries at some point catch up with you. And the Buccaneers have been, I think, incredibly good, fortunate. I would say just good at winning games when you've had this many injuries, especially along the offensive line. And offensive line, by the way, when we made every calculation for this team in terms of going to the playoffs and winning 11, 12 games, was, at least in my mind, maybe second to Baker Mayfield as the best parts of this football team and the reasons that they were going to have a very successful season and go deep into the playoffs. That's how important, first of all, I think an offensive line is in the NFL. And if you have a good one, it sets you up for so much. It allows you to run the football, which they're not doing very well right now. It allows you to run the football and control the game. And it allows your passer in Baker Mayfield to be way more successful. And he's been running for his life all year long, including against the three less talented teams that we beat. And yesterday it was exactly what I expected. They weren't going to be able to run the football, and passing the football was going to be difficult as well. And yes, the yardage looks good because of 2 70-yard plays, by the way, a record. They haven't done that since 2018, a record for Bucky Irving in terms of the distance. Thank you, Paul Stewart, for that. In terms of the distance for a running back touchdown receiving. There was a lot of good that happened yesterday, but in the end, it came down to exactly what I thought it would come down to: physicality by the Eagles, especially up front. It did not allow the Buccaneers offense to do much of anything in the first half, and save a couple of big plays. They were not really able to drive the football the distance, and that's what Philly does. And I talked to Baker about this after the game. Asked him a question about that they were just, they were playing 2 high safeties, and their defensive backs are extremely aggressive. And they got there probably a half a count early and broke up passes, I would say probably a handful of times. And that was a big storyline in this game. I asked Chris Godwin about it after the game, and he said, absolutely. A couple of times they got there early, but he also said, listen, as a wide receiver, I'd rather have that than the ticky-tack OPI, DPI calls, let the guys play. I thought it was a difference. And listen, if they're going to let you play as a defensive backfield, then you take advantage of it. I think the Bucs defenders kind of got into that mode a little bit more in the second half. But when you can rush 4 and get pressure, drop 7, play a 2 high shell, and not allow explosive plays, you're going to have to earn every touchdown drive you have. And when you've got linebackers and defensive backs in the secondary that come up and really force quickly, they force the edges quickly. They're quick to the ball. They're aggressive when they get there. I was really impressed by the Eagles' defense, despite those 2 big plays. Really impressed by their defense, and when you cannot run the ball, especially the Buccaneers, and set up with the rest of your offense, you're going to struggle. And I think we saw that. And the loss of Cody Mauch and Luke Gedeke really hurt this team, and really Keefe as well. Baker said this, and I asked him about it on Wednesday. What do these losses mean to your team? And he's like, they're paraphrasing here. It's like they're the core of the edginess of this team. Like those 3 guys are the ones that are always beating people up and physically mauling people and kind of setting the tone. Tone setters is, I think, the word that he used. They're tone setters. And when you don't have those guys, it's not to say that Tristan Wirfs isn't that guy and there aren't some other guys, but those are the guys. Those are the guys, and it gives your team on offense an edge, and it allows you to physically dominate the game in the run game, and then allows your play action passing to be so much more effective, and it allows your quarterback to be able to have some time to throw. So without the right side of the offensive line, and not to say that Heck and Haggard played terrible, just going through the film a little bit. And I asked Graham Barton about this, and he said, they were doing a lot of stunts up front, a lot of twisting, a lot of looping, and that's where the pressure was coming. And when they're doing that, there's so much movement in front of Baker, and that's why you could see he just never looked comfortable all day long. Never looked comfortable. And he said, we have to do a better job of passing that off. Like when one guy comes, the other guy loops around. We got to pass it off and be in good position. But here's the deal. When you've got the talent that they have up front, in Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Those guys are so big and so fast. It's not easy to pass guys off. And that's why the Eagles have won 17 or 18 consecutive games when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes. I think they're 19-1 or whatever. They're winning a lot of goddamn football games because they're really freaking good. They're really good. And they stuck to their defensive game plan. Now, listen, offensively, it was kind of weird because when I was looking at the first half, offensively, they kind of did what they wanted in the first half, but the second half was almost a complete shutout by the Buccaneers. I mean, they had 8 possessions in the second half, the Eagles did. And if you throw in the safety, it was minus 16 yards total. You take the safety away, it was 20 yards, 15 yards total? They had 4 possessions of 0 or negative yards, 6 possessions of 8 yards or less. I mean, that is an ass kicking defensively. So once I think, and I asked Bowles about it, like, why such a stark difference? Now, okay, they were playing with a 3-score lead, which then became a 2-score lead. So it weren't like they were totally not trying to run the ball or no, they were trying, but the Bucs pass rush was ferocious. They started coming up and they looked very much like the Eagles defense, throwing the ball in front of it and rallying to the ball. And they did not let Saquon get free. They did not let the Eagles running game get off. So there was a lot of good in what this team did defensively. And I like the first half, I was like, this defense is not good. And the second half, I was like, wait, this defense is really good. So that was some good. Obviously Abuka, Bucky Irving, these guys are just tremendous players. They're just really good. And they're going to be really good Buccaneers for a long time. That's good news. Tez got into it a little bit. But just overall, when you make that many mistakes, the Bucky fumble was a killer. It was an absolute killer. And was it a fumble? I don't know. His wrist goes down, Nick, and then the ball pops out. So if his forearm hits and the ball pops out, it's no fumble. But if the wrist hits, so what is it? A matter of like this much, like it's just.
I don't know. Like, is the wrist all of a sudden part of the hand? Because apparently, if your hand goes down, that's not officially like you're down. So now it's like a technicality here.
Right. It's like if you hit here, it's not a fumble. But if you hit here, or otherwise, if you hit here, it's not a fumble. If you hit here, it's a fumble.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean,
you may have been down as well.
Yeah, the shin might have been down, but maybe you didn't get as clear of a look as you wanted with the shin. You could have made the argument that the ground caused the fumble too. I mean, there were sort of 3 ways that could have gone. It's just sort of interesting how these close reviews, these tight plays just always go against the Bucs. I mean, it's actually insane how it just sort of always goes down that way. And listen, that play ended up being, I mean, it's not the reason why the Bucs lost. Let me put that at the top. The Bucs did enough things to lose this game on their own. But those things like that just sort of, it didn't help, clearly, because that's a 7-point swing. And, the blocked punt, that's another 7-point swing. That's 14 points that you just sort of gave the Eagles. You can't do it. And I think the general feeling that I have from that game is, the Bucs, they were 3-0 to start, and that was great. And we lauded them and praised them for the resilience that they showed with all the injuries. But I think we were honest. They were living on the edge quite a bit. And when we said, when you play a really good football team, and I don't think they played a really good football team until they saw the Eagles, obviously, you just can't have those self-inflicted mistakes and expect to win. And you certainly can't come out as flat as the Bucs did on offense and defense. I mean, they spotted the Eagles a 14-0 lead. I think Graham Barton said, you blink and it's 14-0. It's exactly how it felt. And you knew it's like the Bucs are going to have to be chasing this game the entire way. And it's just hard to chase games in the NFL and do it week after week after week, like the Bucs have sort of been doing here to start this season. The blocked punt, I mean, it's not great when your center just completely does nothing there, or their long snapper rather does nothing there to really get in the way. But Riley Dixon, I mean, I just don't understand these slow windups that he has. I mean, this is a veteran punter that is very experienced and should know better. And, this is now, it's like special teams. You never want it to be a story, but it's like, I don't know where you go with this special teams right now. The punt unit is a joke. But then on the other side, Cam Johnson is like the best Bucs punt returner that I've seen in like 20 years.
Really good.
Probably going
Really
back
good.
to Carl the Truth Williams back in the days that you were covering them, late 90s, early 2000s. And then Chase McLaughlin, it seems like, remember when everybody wanted to bring in tryouts and everything like that after one bad game, he nails a 65-yarder, which was the longest field goal ever made in an outside NFL game, by the way. And then he comes back and nails a 58-yarder. So we're good. Chase McLaughlin is still one of the best kickers in football. So I can't figure that.
Then you like, oh, we got to bring somebody in. I'm like, shut up.
So I can't figure that out. Defensively, it was clear where it went wrong in the first half. I think the Bucs were bringing a lot of pressure, and they just were not getting home. And the problem was I think Yaya and Hassan Reddick were getting up the field a little too much, and that allowed Jalen Hurts to get out of the pocket and go take off. And what happened was Vita Vea almost every time became the contained defender. And we love Vita Vea, but Vita Vea at 350 pounds against Jalen Hurts in the open, it's just not going to happen. And Jalen Hurts hurt them badly on so many of those plays. And then in the second half, I thought this was really interesting. The Bucs only blitzed on one play in the second half against the Eagles. One play. Wow. It was one slight adjustment that they made in the second half, and Jalen Hurts then was 0 for 8 passing. The Eagles had 19 yards total and punted 6 times in the second half. So the second half defensive effort was flawless. I mean, that's as good as you can get. Saquon Barkley was a non-factor in this football game. Again, it doesn't matter who the Bucs have up front. They're going to stop the run. I think that is very clear to everybody across the NFL. So that was great. I thought the coverage was sticky in the second half for the most part by the Bucs. Ben Morrison was all over really AJ Brown. He had no impact on the game. Devonta Smith had no impact on the game. So that's great. But yeah, when you lose the turnover battle, and I'm going to count the punt, the blocked punt as a turnover. You lost the turnover battle 3-0 in my mind. And when you lose the turnover battle 3-0 and you have a blocked punt in a game that goes for a touchdown, I don't know what the percentage is there, but more often than not, you're just not going to win that football game. I think that's pretty simple to say.
Here's something I missed in the offseason when we acquired Riley Dixon. Guess who led the league in block punts 3 times in his 9 years and currently leads the league in block punts? Riley Dixon.
Of course.
This is his 4th season with at least 2 block punts. And I would say, and maybe you can look this up, Nikki Numbers, what is the percentage of games lost when you give up a block punt for a touchdown? I'm gonna go. I'll guess 92%. No, I'll guess 89%. 89% of the time, if you have a block punt for a touchdown, you lose that game. So evidently, it has been an issue for him in his career.
Yeah, I will say I think we're at that point though, because now this is starting to play a part in you losing football games. I think it's very within reason to say we need to get some punters in the building. I think that's very within reason.
Unfortunately, you paid this guy. In the offseason.
It's about a 90% chance of winning the game when you have a blocked punt return for a touchdown.
So in 1/3 of his now almost half of his seasons, he's had 2 block. Now I don't know if the other 2 were for touchdowns, but typically they are. And his punt percentage inside the 20 this year is 18%. That's not good. He had a bad shank yesterday. Has not been really turning the ball over. He's a weakness. I would definitely look for other punters.
And even through all that though, JP, I mean, I'm not super doom and gloom today, and I don't think you are either necessarily.
No, absolutely not.
The Bucs were down 31-13 in this football game against the reigning Super Bowl champions, and they continue to show that they have a great ability to continue to stay in it and continue to fight and continue to battle. And when they need to make plays, they make them. And at the end of the day, the defense got the offense the ball back there with 6 or 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they get all the way down to the red zone for a chance to get a game-winning score. And Baker Mayfield, oh no. I mean, that was classic Jameis Winston-esque. I mean, it was.
How dare you invoke the name of Jameis with
It was that was a
about
classic.
Baker Mayfield.
That was a classic Jameis Winston play. I've seen it. I know what it looks like, and that was it on full display. He does a hell of a job to evade the sack and get out of it and bop and weave and everything.
Yes.
And then he just throws this ill-advised pass into the end zone. I mean, Baker knew it right away. I mean, Baker did not have his best football game today. I think that's clear. And he also has been living on the edge early in this season, hadn't had a turnover, and it just came at the worst time. And then the defense made another stop, though, to their credit. Got the offense the ball back. Okay, let's go try to get another score. And on the two most important plays on offense, the offensive line picked the worst possible time to just give Baker zero chance on those last two opportunities. So it's unfortunate, but to steal it. You know what? It almost felt like, I hope it turns out this way. I go back to the 0-2 team, JP, and what did Warren Sapp say after they lost to Philly when they played them in the regular season? He's like, "We see them again. We're gonna stick a fork in them," or something like that. And they did. I tell you what, if this Bucs team finds a way to get healthy and they're there at the end and they see the Eagles again, I think it's going to be, I mean, this to me was already a great battle, and it was a one-score game. I mean, let me see how this looks when the Bucs finally get healthy, because the Bucs can play with the Eagles. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I think it's interesting that, I think coming into this game, historically, the Bucs have blitzed, because John Kincaid threw this stat out on us last week. They historically have blitzed Jalen Hurts 48% of the time. So clearly they were ready for all the Bowles blitzes. And from the very beginning, they get the ball outside to Saquon in the flat a couple different times to avoid the rush and take advantage of the blitz. They had a very, very good plan for the Bucs blitz, executed it to perfection. And then we switched it up and he struggled. So did the adjustment help? Yeah, I think so. And now when I asked Bowles about it, I said, "Did you make any adjustments?" He said, "No." He said, "We just played smarter. We did our jobs," is what he said. "We did our jobs." Well, according to your number, that they only blitzed one time, he did make an adjustment in terms of how he was calling the game. So he may have Sternberg this there, which we may be using now as a new verb. So the adjustment worked, and the guys played smarter, and they played better in the second half. So I listen, there's a lot. Now listen, Benjamin Morrison leaves the game with a hamstring. We don't know how severe that is going to be.
That's three hamstring injuries for Ben Morrison since he's become a Buck, by the way.
Yeah. We are the Bermuda Triangle of hamstring injuries here in Tampa Bay, without question. And maybe it has something to do with the heat, and just guys get so dehydrated. It's one of the biggest muscles in your body, obviously. And it's the one, if you're a corner or wide receiver, you're using the most. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a training issue necessarily for the Buccaneers. Some guys are just, obviously Mike has had a career of issues with even before he got to Tampa Bay with hamstrings. So, but I think it just exacerbates it. If you have an issue like that, the heat just exacerbates it. So we'll see where he's at. And suddenly you get thin at corner because Jamel went down as well. Go figure. Hot, tough day. Jamel goes down. And he was playing really good. He's playing really, really well. So the injuries continue to mount. And the problem is you're not getting Cody Mark back. He's not coming back. Now, Gedeke is coming back. And when Gedeke comes back, you're going to have 4 of the 5 if the other guys stay healthy. And I thought, I haven't gone through the entire all 22. I'll do that today. But it looked like Tristan played pretty well. I don't think
Tristan, I thought was mauling people, man. I thought Tristan played a fantastic football game, and it was so. I mean, we already appreciated Tristan Wirfs a lot, but I think after the first 3 games and then seeing the difference in this game, all the pressure was coming from kind of the middle or the right side of the line.
Yeah, they were running games. It's exactly what we started. I mean, this was not brain surgery. You got 2 new guys and 2 not very good players on the right side, and Haggard. Big guys, but just not very mobile. And you knew they were going to come at them with all different types of stunts, and they did, and it caused a lot of havoc for the Buccaneers. And that's just good coaching. You attack the weaknesses of the other team. And when Lane Johnson went out, I think the Bucs did something similar. So listen, there was a lot of good in this one. Talking about the Baker play that you had to invoke Jameis's name. Damn you. But it was one of those, Fred Sanford stumbling, bumbling escapes where you're just like, oh my God. And then I literally said it came out of my mouth on that last, when he got away from Jalen Carter right at the end, they kind of broke into the clear. I literally came out of my mouth, just eat it, eat it. And it came out of his hands. And I was like, oh, no. He said it slipped and then it got tipped. And then, and that's another thing. When it's so hot out there and you're running around and the ball's moving, you lose the grip on it. Your hand gets sweaty. It's just tough. Like they had a bad snap that cost them. That's probably from a sweaty ball. So, sweaty balls will really cost you in a game like this. And it did the Buccaneers. And that was a tough one, especially on first down, man. And Baker knows this. He knows it. It's a critical error. But again, Falcons, Texans, you beat those teams when you make errors like that, not the Eagles. They're going to make you pay. Now, listen, they had chances. They had two chances. Baker had two chances with the ball, down 8, to come back and win that game. He throws the pick and the one. You got to get points there. You got to get points. He knows that. And then the second drive, to your point, they just, they know, listen, we're not going to let him out. We're not going to let him beat us with his legs because that's what he's been doing the first 3 games. So, look, this just in. The Eagles are really good, and they're very well coached. They're very well coached. And that was, it was a great chess match in the game. I thought the Eagles clearly won the chess match in the first half. The Bucs won it in the second half. And in the end, the Bucs outgained them 376 to 200. 376 to 200.
And a lot of the 2 explosive plays for touchdowns certainly helped that. Yeah. Because it definitely felt like everything was a struggle for the Bucs offense. And in fact, before they actually said, when it was 24-6, right before Emeka Egbuka had the long touchdown, I literally said to myself, like literally a minute before that, the Bucs could have 100 possessions in this game, and I just don't know if they're going to score a touchdown. Like that's how I said that out loud to myself. And then of course, Baker just, the fact that he even thought to even throw that football and then throw it perfectly as he did. The margin of error there is incredible. The concentration by Emeka Egbuka,
unbelievable.
The way he sort of just walked into the end zone was hilarious too. By the way, I don't know if I would have done that when you're down 24-6, but
a little bit of swagger, a little bit of swagger,
a little bit of swagger, of course. But yeah, the offense, they had their moments. They're going to be they're going to get better eventually. This was the first game for Chris Godwin back, and he looked a little rusty. Everybody was making a big deal about sort of the hand fighting, and the Eagles got there early, and it definitely looked like Quinyon Mitchell. He was grabbing jerseys all day. The throw the perfect throw that Baker made when he was rolling out to his right over to Godwin on that sort of up route there to the corner.
Yeah.
He definitely got there early. He definitely got there early. I think what's frustrating, it's like in other games, all those are getting called. And then in some games, they kind of go away. But like, I will say, I appreciate what we saw yesterday that they didn't call it. I prefer to just sort of let these guys play and let it happen naturally. So like, it's frustrating because in other games it's going to get called. But in a way, I kind of like how it was legislated yesterday.
Well, I don't want to, I hate the ticky-tack calls. But when, on that particular play, that guy Quinyon was out of position. He got turned around, and he was just trying to make. I'm not going to let him catch it if I get a PI, whatever. It's going to be physical, and they decided that really early on. That's the way they were going to play. If I get there early, I don't care. We're going to play physical. Dijon was there 2 counts early, probably 2 or 3 of the breakups that he had. And when you rake somebody's arm and don't allow him to catch the ball, if you're bumping into him, it's one thing. But if you grab his arm like he did on that play and you're stripping his arm before you even get a chance to, I think you got to make that call. You got to make that call because you're not allowing, that's not hand fighting at that point. That's just, you're just not allowing it. And I saw that at least 2 or 3 times. And those are big plays. And if you keep allowing it, it's just going to get worse. And I think it kind of did throughout the game. And I said, I'm going to go back and look at the tape and see how many of those were allowed. And I would probably say just off the top of my head, it was at least 4 times. And that was a big one because that puts them in field goal range. I'm not sure if they scored on that drive or not, but that would have put them in field goal range right away. And who knows what they do after that. So I think the way the game was officiated did not favor the Bucs at all. But, you don't want to – you got to tip your cap to what they did well. I'm just saying, moving forward, if that's the best team in the NFL, and I think arguably it is, we're good. We can play with that team. There's no question in my mind we can play with that team.
The flip side of this is I keep saying, like, once the Bucs get healthy, they're going to be – I mean, they're doing this right now with a shell of what their roster should be. Right. The issue is it's just every game just taketh away in the injury department. I mean, and yesterday was a big deal. I mean, Jamel Dean goes down with a groin issue. We know those are going to be tricky. Anytime someone has a hamstring issue, that signals to me you're going to miss time. So that's 2 corners. Let's just assume you're missing 2 corners now with Jamel Dean and Benjamin Morrison. Last year when their corners went down, we had to see Josh Hayes and Tyreek Funderburg. The good news is we're far away from those 2 guys getting on the field because now you have Kendall Vildor, Bryce Hall, I believe, is still on the practice squad. Parrish, we know, can play outside if he needs to. Christian Izien did not play in this football game. If he gets healthy, we know he's an option to go back into the slot to replace what Parrish was doing in there.
And really good.
So there's some options there. Defensive tackle has turned into an issue now because Kalijah Cansey's already out. One of the practice squads they brought up before he even got into this game, I think earlier this week, he had an issue. Now he's out for the season. Was it Jalen Jones or something like that? I can't remember his name. Yeah. And then now Greg Gaines has his issue with a pec. I mean, anytime you hear pec, that's not good. So Elijah Roberts,
he walked off the field without any sling or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on. And he was still in his pads. So
it's more Elijah Roberts, which again, I saw him make some more plays in that game. So I like where he's going. Hassan Reddick goes down with a shoulder stinger. Doesn't sound like he sounds pretty optimistic that he'll play this week.
We talked to him after the game. He sounds like he's going to play.
Yeah, but it's just one thing after the other with this team and these damn injuries, man.
Yeah, and right guard is going to be an issue moving forward. Again, I didn't see how Haggard played. I think I saw a couple of times.
When can Michael Jordan get back into the fold? Because Michael Jordan, from what I saw, is
pretty good.
A way better football player than Luke Haggard. Maybe not a liability. So if you get him back and you get Gedeke back in the next couple weeks, hopefully when he comes, is he on injured reserve? He's on injured reserve, right?
Yeah, he's out for. Yeah, he's still got the little wheelie.
Yeah, so a little bit more time for him, but I mean, you're hopeful that will turn around. But
they got to get. So to me, it looks like this team is not going to be back to full strength until about till the bye week. So you've got this 4-game stretch now where you got Seahawks. What's the rest of this? We have Seahawks,
Chiefs, 49ers, and Lions.
49ers home.
And then you get some let-ups against the Saints, and nothing's really ever a let-up, but you get the Saints and the Patriots before you face the Bills. So
So these next 3 games are big, and you got to find a way. If you can win one of them, you're fine because the final stretch is very, very doable, and that's when you're going to get healthy. Rattle off the schedule after the bye week. After the Bills.
After the Bills game?
Yeah.
Yes. So after the Bills, they play the Rams on the road, which is a night game, and then Cardinals at home, Saints at home, Falcons at home, Panthers on the road, Dolphins on the road, Panthers at home.
Yeah, that's 6 games. 6 games you should win. And if if this team, Gedeke's back, J-Mac is back, hopefully we got somebody settled in at right guard by that point. And here's the other thing. We don't get any more catastrophic injury. That's the whole thing. There's no guarantee we're not going to get more injuries. So as these things mount, it just, it hurts. It hurts this team. But and that's going to happen to a lot of other teams as well. But this particular team, we've lost a lot of key guys. Losing Kalijah Cansey up front is a killer. It really, really hurts your defense, although I thought they played well in the second half. Cody Mauch is a big loss, and, Keefe is a bigger loss than I thought, quite frankly. But guys got to step up. And, you got to – and if you just play cleaner, you got to play cleaner, Like the Bucky was the Bucky Was that a forced turnover? Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was a good hit. It was a gang tackle, and he kind of got his ankle rolled up underneath. I didn't think he was going to come back and play after watching the replay, but he did. And next series, he scores the 77-yarder, 72-yarder. And then, of course, the block punt and the interception, those are self-inflicted wounds. Those are self-inflicted wounds that cannot happen. And you clean that up, and you're probably winning this football game in the last minute. So all in all, as I asked Bowles this yesterday, at 3-1, what have you learned from your team, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, we're tough. We're a very tough team. And they are. They're a super tough team, and that matters. That matters in this league. There's a lot of teams that just aren't. And I've seen a lot of Buccaneers teams that aren't. And you don't have a shot to win anything if you're not a physically and mentally tough team. And this team really is. In both capacities, I think they're really, really good. And that's huge. So, if you're a Buck fan, the sky's not falling. It's one loss to a really good football team where you made way too many mistakes, where you kind of beat yourself. So clean it up, get healthy, get back at it, and be ready to go next week against a very tough Seattle team that I think is averaging 16-point differential and they play Thursday night, so they get a little bit of rest.
They got one of the better defenses in football for sure, and an offense that has its moments for sure. So not in a tough place to play. Tough place to play up in Seattle.
Oof, yeah, very tough. By the way, if you like one of these wonderful, I'm gonna get you one of these wonderful. It's kind of a Tervis tumbler. It's a beautiful one. Go to fanstreamsports.com, our new website. It is loaded with local content, national content, no paywall, no false narratives, just good sports and good takes. And all of our shows you can access there at fanstreamsports.com. Bookmark it, make it your new place to go get all your sports knowledge. You can see this show there. You can see IndyCar Tim's show here, or From the Rough. The O Show, the Big O Show, which we'll be doing another one tomorrow, which, by the way, if you're a baseball fan, is a must listen to. I got I'm going to read this a little bit later on, a great endorsement from my good friend Douglas Batista, who has become a big fan of the Big O Show. You've got to watch that. We'll do another one tomorrow to wrap up the season. All right, we're going to take a break. I see all your comments. You guys are killing it. We're going to go next segment is all you guys. We're going to go through all your comments and hear what you got to say. Any questions you got put up in there? We'll get to the college football stuff. We'll get to the Ryder Cup. So much more to get to. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. So if you're in an accident, you have any issues at work, any legal matter whatsoever, get a free case evaluation. Free. Call them. JeevesLawGroup.com. 930 spokesman officers, Tampa and St. Pete. And the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. Their grand opening is coming up this weekend. Their re-grand opening, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th over there at Bears Avenue, 801 East Bears, just off of 275 and Nebraska. Great cars, incredible SUVs, luxury, technology, and value. The price for these, you will not believe when you compare it to the other luxury models. GenesisofTampa.com. Back in 3.
Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience Advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we break down all the Buccaneers stuff here. We'll be talking some Ryder Cup here in just a little bit. College schedule, Stu Sternberg. Brought to you by Riveters, by the way. Hey, right before each and every Bucs home game, they're going to be doing Riveters brunch with all kinds of specials going on, food specials. They open at 9 o'clock for these 1 o'clock games, so you get there early for brunch, get your pregame on, so when you get to Ray J, you don't have to spend $75 on 2 beers. So head on over to Riveters before game days. Anytime is a great time. We got baseball playoffs coming up. We got lightning coming up as well. So great place to watch all the games. There are all TVs everywhere. Food is fantastic. Everything is fresh. They don't use freezers for anything except their ice cream, and the drinks and the bar and the staff. Absolutely fantastic. Riveters, the official sports bar of the JP Peterson Show. And by the way, they also own a new fast casual Mexican place right across the street called Boda. If you love in the Chipotle, but much better, like everything is fresh, everything is perfect, you go try this place, Boda. If you like fast casual Mexican food, right across the street there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275. Beautiful, beautiful restaurant, and the food is fantastic. So check that out. All right. You want to do some comments here, Nick?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. Thank you guys, by the way, as always, for jumping in here. Good morning to you, Kenneth McClary, as he says good morning to all the Petermans. Thank you very much. He says, my stance on FSU is they were out physical. The team is better than last year, but they still have work to do, especially on defense. Virginia took it to our defense and beat them pretty good. They ran the football. They ran for 160 yards in the second half, and FSU had no answer for the zone read of quarterback Chandler Morris, who hurt his hand and couldn't even throw the ball. I mean, and he's still allowed him to run. Like, were you not yelling at the TV? It's like, he can't throw. He's holding his hand.
I think I was yelling at the TV because I was like, anybody on FSU staff want to get 10 out of the football game? James Williams, like, I mean, how many times did they just literally just run it right at him all game long?
Yeah,
and he was out there almost every play.
They got out coached big time, I thought, in this game. There were a lot of bad calls that went against FSU, and there's this. The ACC schedules FSU on these night games on the road every effing year. And
you know how it goes. ACC football during the week is just always prime for this every single year.
And there's always going to be awful, shitty calls early on, and there were in this game, and causing turnovers. It was a tying touchdown late in the game, or that would have been the winning touchdown. That was not allowed by Deuce, who I thought caught the ball in bounds. And then as he went out of bounds, kind of rearranged it. He didn't need to do that, but he had control of it in bounds. And
he probably should have just caught the ball normally because it was a fantastic throw by Tommy in that moment. And then the guy and Deuce was dominating that football game. And then for him to just, when you leave it up to review like that, and it was not something that was definitive either way. I mean,
100%.
You can't do that.
Yep. Yeah, especially with ACC refs, you're going to get screwed.
I did like though the transparency from the.
I love it.
Going inside the review thing. I did enjoy that. I wish that would be uniformed across college football
and NFL,
especially NFL. Yes,
NFL. We are. I mean, the gambling that is going on in the NFL is unprecedented now. It is with all these websites and everything. You have got to have more transparency. These are game-changing calls that are being done in the dark anonymously. We can't have New York said this. Who the F is New York? There is no New York. I want to see who's making the calls. I want to hear them talk it through. I want to hear so we can say, what are you talking about? That ball's on the ground. If he says, oh, it's not on the ground, you can see it on the ground. The ball's on the ground. What do you mean there's not 2 feet? He's got control of it. It's 2 feet. Like, there's got to be more transparency in the NFL. With all the money that's being gambled, they've got to go to the ACC model. They have to. They have no – if Congress has to get involved, they have to do it. This making the crucial decisions anonymously in the dark is not – it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's ridiculous. Kenneth says, as for the Buccaneers, they beat themselves, lost 2 turnovers and a block punt. It's going to do that. This was a much more winnable game than I thought, even with the injuries. Yeah, I totally agree. All right, Kenny, we'll give some other people a chance here. Sergio Bilcher says, good morning. We can't make those mistakes against any team, but especially them. But we weren't going to go 17-0 either. What I'm more worried about is the injuries if they don't stop, 100%. Not one a knee-jerk reaction, but Atlanta replaced their wide receivers coach already. Sure hope the Bucs and Bowles are taking a hard look at our special teams coach. That's from Bantry. Yeah, it's just that's too many issues that seem very apparent. The punter's slow, and your protection sucks. You got to be better at that. You've got to be better at that. And I was looking at some of the kickoffs too, and there's guys that are just whiffing blocks. I mean, whiffing blocks. Like, you got to be better than that. I mean, if a guy's just running by you, and I saw that way too many times. Like,
yeah, and we already saw the Houston game. Don't forget that one. We had a long punt go the other way. Now there should have probably been a block in the back call on that one, by the way, but it still happened. So it's just that whole entire punt unit is just a disaster in every facet.
To this point, John Hill says if the Bucs offensive line coach is one of the best in the league, he needs to assist the special teams on punt blocking. Yeah, and also kick blocking as well. They did better yesterday, though. They cleaned that up. I thought there was a couple times there was some penetration, but for the most part, I mean, how about Chase? 65, 55. I mean, that's a record for, as you mentioned, that's an outdoor record, which I think we should have too, right? We should have an indoor record and an outdoor record. And now
Yeah,
Chase has
because
the
they're
outdoor
two
record.
very different things. Two very different
Yes.
things.
Very different things. So Chase has the outdoor record, and let's celebrate that. Bantry says Jamie Gillian, who punts for the Giants now, when he came into the league, the first thing they did was change him to a two-step punter so he could get his kicks off faster. Yeah, I mean, again, Riley Dixon has led the league in block punts 3 times and leads the league currently this year with 2. And 2
By the way,
usually leads the league.
Even when he gets a punt off,
3 games
it ain't,
in.
even when he gets a punt off, it ain't like he's like killing it out there. I mean,
No.
I've seen him 1 outkick the coverage, and then 2 yesterday I saw him have a horrible shank that went like 15 or 20 yards. Like even when he gets a punt off, it's not exactly like we're talking about some greatly effective punter. So absolutely, if you want to be considered a contender, this is an all hands on deck situation. You've got to make tough decisions. So I would like to think that the Bucs are going to not just sit on this with Riley Dixon, and continue to let this situation just continue to get worse.
Right, 100%. That's bothersome. Cody says, JP, you're the man. Calm down, everyone. Bucs are 3-1. Bucs can't expect to keep winning in the fourth quarter. Yep, absolutely. Thank you. James Rollerson says, Delco's in Dunedin has the best cheesesteaks. Yeah, Big Dog used to represent Delco's. I've been there, and he's 100%
I've actually
right. That's one of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had.
I've actually never even been to Dunedin in my life.
Never?
Insane. I've actually never gone to Dunedin, but I've heard a lot of things about this Delco's place, though.
The downtown Dunedin, where the Blue Jays train in the spring. Oh, they've got some of the best bars, like a little Irish pubs.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's one of the hidden gems of Tampa Bay. If you've not been, you got to go to Delco's, get a cheesesteak. There's like a pub row, a little downtown area. It's got all these really cool shops and stuff. Really, really. And then for spring, you just walk over to the games. Marty Aaron says, traitor, you Nick Geddes. Instant gratification over commitment. Getting a cheese stick on the day we play Philly. Oh, freaking IndyCar Tim was wearing Philly green on Friday's show.
Was he now?
And
So you might want to consider who you're working with then on this show. You seems like you got a lot of traders in here.
I know. And I made what somebody called a dirty pick on Friday, picking the Eagles to win the game.
Business is business. Business is business.
I felt dirty. Yeah. Thomas Casper says, no real cheesesteak has sesame seeds and cheese whiz. Introduced in the 1950s as an option to provolone is still garbage. What is cheese whiz? Like, what is it even made of? Like, maybe we should read the ingredients on it.
I don't think I want to read the ingredients on it, actually. I don't. It's one of those things it's one of those things where if you do like cheese whiz, you eat it and you just ignore what the bottle says on it because it can't be good.
Douglas Batista says lots to unpack in the Bucs game. The obvious block kick and Bucky turnover led to 14 points, but Bucs D held Eagles in the second half, so that was promising. McLaughlin was impressive. Yes, he was indeed. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott. Sergio says, also, Bucs season ticket holders need to stop selling their tickets. It sounded and felt like an Eagles home game once again yesterday. Sergio, my condolences, bro. And to all the Buc fans that didn't sell their tickets, they had to sit in the sea of green yesterday. My condolences. I talked about this on a post-game show. I don't know who's at fault. I don't know who to point the finger at. I think the Bucs are doing everything they can. I know Brian Ford is aggressively addressed, trying to monitor who is selling their tickets. And if you sell a certain portion of them, you get your season tickets revoked, and I think that's fine. Although in this economy, I also understand that it's really, really tough. If you could sell your tickets and get half of what you paid for your season tickets, I get it. But so it's hard for me to point. I just said this. We got to be better, man. We got to be better as a sports town. Yeah, listen, Philadelphia is too fanatical. Like beating up people because they're wearing another team's jersey is childish, immature, and really uncivilized. Completely uncivilized. You know, and I saw a lot of Buck fans and Philly fans before the game taking pictures together that were in costumes, you know, different things and having a good time. And that's the way it should be, man. That's what we should be doing. everybody, we're here for a freaking football game. And I'll get to this in the Ryder Cup as well. It's sports, people. It's sports.
I think I will say with the I mean, the other part of this too, like I'm sure selling the tickets is a big issue, but it's just a reality. Like there are a ton there. I mean, there's got to be so many Eagles fans that just live here. Like it's part of it. And we always know what we're expecting. I think I saw Rock Riley said yesterday on Twitter, I think that in all his years covering Eagles facing here, yesterday was like the worst that he had seen it. That's unfortunate because this is a game between 2 3-0 teams. I mean, we knew what was at stake here. Like, this isn't a case of like 10 years ago where the Bucs were putting a horrible product on the football field and people were just like, I'd rather just stay home, forget about it. No, this is a really, really good team that won a Super Bowl within the last 5 years. It continues to be one of the best teams in football, one of the best run organizations in football. And at some point, like, I hate to say it, but like the excuses have got to stop for why you're not going to these football games. I mean, it just does. Like, we got to be more of a serious sports market. Like, enough with this. Like, the Bucs have been around in this area for 50 years now. This isn't like a case of the Rays where you're 25 years old and, you know, you have a younger fan base and all the issues with stadiums and ownership, blah, blah, blah. The Bucs don't have any of those issues. And it's not just the Eagles. Other teams come in here all the time and take over this stadium. And I'm pretty much over it too. Like, I really am. But it's almost like when you face the Eagles, you almost are just expecting going in like, oh, we're going to have to deal with all these loud Eagle fans just taking over our stadium. Like the Bucs, like the Eagles got a penalty yesterday at one point, and the entire thing was booing over the radio.
Well, there were times when the Eagles defensive players were doing this when the Bucs had the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like we're trying to get the home stadium against the home team. And because you have so many fans there, yeah. No, I actually put it out on my Twitter as well, not just Rock Riley, by the way, Nick. We and I showed the sea of green, and I asked Rock, and I asked Ira Kaufman, Lee the Camper, so all this old guard. I said, okay, let's take a quick poll here. Is this the most you've ever seen for regular? And they're like, yeah. Yeah, this is the most we've ever seen. And it's true. And it was embarrassing. And yeah, I just like you said, we got to be a better sports town. I don't want to be fanatical like Philly, but I want to be as enthusiastic and supportive as Philly. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people that live in this area that are Philly fans are here. It's not like they all traveled, but as John Kincaid told us last week, they had to add 7 flights to get all the Philly fans down here. You know, I wish our fans were that rabid. And listen, I know it's different. You know, it's different cultures in different cities, but we got to be better. And it's not just, you know, this happens at Benchmark International Arena. You know, when Toronto's here or whatever, it happens obviously at the Rays, but that's more Sternberg, you know, dynamic pricing or feature price, whatever the hell they call it, and pricing out Rays fans. We just do it too much. And it's disappointing. It's really, really disappointing. If we want to be taken serious as a sports market, we got to be better. We got to be better than that. It's as simple as that. John O'Leary says, would like to hear from fans that use all 22 about punt formation. Should they try a 3-man shield setup? Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing, John. If your long snapper can't block, you got to do something. You have to make adjustments in this league, man. You can't just do the same damn thing. You can't have this happen in 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row. You can't have that. That it's, you know, if it happens once, somebody picks up on somebody makes a good play. Okay. But continually happening. No, people get fired for that. Thomas Casper says K-Dot 3 for 9 yards. Yeah. He's got 6 catches for 34 yards.
I mean, he's having to babysit the right side of the offensive line for the most part. And like, I mean, what all the targets he got yesterday, like were in like the worst spots where like, I mean, even the one at the end of the game there, Baker just had to toss it up to somebody that was like in his view. Like he threw an out route to Cade, I think at one point that Zach Bond was all over him. Like it is what it is. I mean, he's having to make up so much of the deficiencies on the right side of the line. So yeah, your tight end is just not involved in the passing game.
That's a problem. I think when we're at full strength, Cade can be it could be a really good weapon.
Yeah.
When we're not at full strength and he's got to help here and Mike is not in the game, taking coverage away, it's like he's one of those tight ends that's good when we're good, but can't make a difference when we're not. You know what I'm saying? He's not to that level. And that's just
last year when they had the injuries, Cade became like the number one guy there for a little bit of a stretch. But the difference is your offensive line was healthy. It's just the way it is. And I actually give Cade a lot of credit because when he first got into this league, he was a huge liability as a blocker. So the idea that now in year 4, they feel comfortable enough to like basically have him there almost exclusively. I mean, he's put a lot of work in. I'm not going to say he's one of the best in the league at it or anything like that, but he's very capable.
He had a great year last year. He had a great year, and I thought he was much improved, and he's got big enough where he's moving forward and falling forward when he's driving defenders, getting those extra yards.
And Ko Keith being hurt does it. Ko, we don't talk a lot about Ko, but Ko's doing a lot of dirty work in there, and especially on special teams, and that's where you really lose Ko.
Nathan Elliott says the Bucs-Eagles game was like the movie Rocky. I don't think you spelled that right, Nathan. The champ won the game because time ran out. If the Bucs had a little bit more time, they would have won the game yesterday. Yeah, the Eagles were wilting in the second half. There's no question about that. It was really hot out there. What's with the fact that they have to hold up the shade? They have two guys holding up the shade. I guess the NFL rule is that you can't have a permanent shade on the sideline or something. I don't know what
that's a rule.
It's something like that. There's some wording to it, so you got to hold it up and then take it away or something.
Well, I'm glad to know that the
NFL.
I'm glad to know the NFL is prioritizing health and safety. I really am. They continue to tell us they are, and we have stupid rules like that where two teenagers have to basically stand there and have their forearms basically fall off for 4 hours on the football field. Ridiculous. And then we're still playing on these horrendous turf fields across the country where, again, we saw another big time player get a torn ACL yesterday.
Yeah, Willie Neighbors,
wonder why. I wonder why.
Yeah, that stuff is so sticky too at times. It's not great. But hey, that's all about the player safety though. Don't you know that?
Of course.
Yeah. More Right Runner says eventually we have to give Todd his flowers with his second half adjustments all season up to this point. Yeah, maybe we should have made that adjustment a little bit quicker. That's all I can say. Right Runner says, I thought the ground couldn't cause a fumble. Exactly what they said 3 weeks ago when Penix got 14 opportunities from the 5-yard line. Yeah, right? When he came down with the ball out, and he came down, I don't know, maybe it was here instead of here. I mean, ridiculous. And that's the problem, guys. We've been watching football for how long? Like, I don't have this and even though the rules change a lot in baseball, like, do we have a lot of problems with understanding what's a home run and what's not a home run? What's a catch in baseball and what's not a catch? What's an out and what's not an out? Do we have? Not really. I can't think of another sport where the rules are so ambiguous and open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Fair? Is that fair?
Yeah, and I don't know how many pages the rule book is either, but I have to assume that it's probably too many pages too long or something like that. And every single rule has this long excerpt of just like how they're officiating it. And I give the officials some grace because they're having to do this all in real time. And they have to think about all these things that are in this rule book. Like, it ain't an easy job. I'm certainly not saying it. I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. But we expect better from a league that
I could do it.
I don't think so. But listen, we expect better from the Premier League in this country. We just do.
But the problem is there's no definitive stuff. It's like they're changing the rules all the time. Yeah. The overtime rules change all the time. What's a catch and what's not a catch. We've been dealing with this since Bert Emanuel in 1999, and we still don't know. I think
I feel like the way this should always be when it comes to like the catch rule, like I would be probably the most lenient person ever on it. Because in my opinion, like, I don't care if like the ground helped you a little bit. In my opinion, if the play ends and the ball is in your hands, I mean, I'm just calling it a catch. Like, I don't need this stuff about, it rolled a little bit as I was being forcefully killed to the ground, all that garbage. If the ball ended up in your hands after the end, unless it literally just hit the ground and then just bounced back to your hands, that's different. But in every other case, if it ends up in your hands and it hits your hands first, and it's because, it rolled on the ground when I was falling and all that fast motion, I don't need any of that. I don't need that.
I agree. I think if you catch the ball in the air, all right, if you control the ball in the air, what happens when you go to the ground after that? If it rolls a little bit, I don't care. If you catch it in the air, or with your, you get 2 feet, you've caught it, you get hit, and the ball kind of moves a little bit. No, that's a catch. Like, catch it. Is it catch? Now, if you catch it, and if you hit it, if it hits here, goes up in the air, and then you're grabbing at it, or it's, you don't have control of it. If you have control of the ball at some point of the catch, to me, it's a catch. If you catch it, now, if you catch it and a guy knocks it out, if you're right at impact, say the ball comes, you catch it and a guy strips the ball out, that's not a catch. That's a defensive strip. But those are very obvious, So I don't know. I think I can tell what's a catch and what's not a catch. And if it was just me doing it, you'd know every single time, because I would be ruthlessly consistent like you are. But I'd be more lenient in most of the cases. The catches, you got to really F it up not to have a catch. Because the problem is, most of the time, these guys are making these incredible catches, like the one Ibuka made last week, where the defender hits it, and then he grabs it and grabs control of it and somehow gets 2 feet in. Like, it's that close. I'm giving it to the offense or if it's a defender, I'm giving it to the player every single time. Every single time. Like, you're going to have most of your foot outside. Like, even if I can't tell whether it's touching the white or not, catch. And then you'd have to have half your foot on the line for it not to be a catch to me. It's just, I'm always going to, and I'd be consistent that way. So you'd know that's catch. Right. You'd know. You'd have to see the ball moving around, something bad. All right. We got lots more of your comments to get to. I'm going to take a break. I got to come back and I'm going to hit this Stu Sternberg thing hard. We're going to hit it hard. Ridiculous false narratives once again from Stu Sternberg as he tries to go out and with his compliant people in the media, and you know who you are, trying to canonize this guy as, the greatest, like a Jeffrey Vinnick. Are you freaking kidding me? It is the most unbelievable, self-serving, legacy trying to change effort I don't think I've ever seen. And we're not going to let it happen here on the JP Peterson Show. I can assure you of that. So we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. And they bring you some of the greatest customer service you will ever have in your life when it comes to dealing with insurance agents, which are very difficult to do. You don't want to deal with this stuff. Let them do it. They'll shop it around. They'll find you the best product. 813-877-7799, Italiano Insurance. Back in 3.
The Golden Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Golden Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Golden Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Golden Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on this Monday post-Buccaneers. We got a lot more comments. We're going to get to those in just a second. We're brought to you by the great folks at kingmakerstampa.com. If you're looking for a satellite office or an office space in Midtown Tampa, it's a great place to go. It's a very unique place. They have private and public offices there, workspace there, communal workspace. They have a great conference room there that you can use. They have a whole production studio where we do the JP Peterson Show. That is also open to you. And they also have some really cool things like a really nice sports bar to watch games, smoke cigars, whatever you want to do. They have a golf simulator there. You want to play all the different golf courses. I've done that. It's absolutely fantastic. So become a member at kingmakerstampa.com. Go to the website. Schedule a free tour. The Big O may even give you the tour over there at Kingmaker. So become a member. It's a really good value and a great opportunity if you're a business person to network with some great people and have a spot in Midtown Tampa to do your work and play. Cool place. All right. Nick, you want to join me in getting into this Stu Sternberg comments as he exits as the managing general partner of your Tampa Bay Rays after 20 years of mixed results?
I hate that we have to talk about Stu, but you know what? He's given us no option, hasn't he? He's given us no option.
He really has. And it's shameful to me that we have to go through all these ridiculous false narratives. And, listen, they had a nice goodbye to him with the employees and how everybody loves him. I don't think, he was cutting any $50,000 checks or $50 checks on the way out. Maybe he did for his employees like Jeffrey Vinnick did. But this whole idea that this guy, because he's won a few baseball games, has been this great, wonderful owner here and has done great things for the community, has really tried and been a good dude. That is so horribly false. Folks, I'll just say it again, what I've said many, many times before. I've talked to the people that have been in negotiations with Stu Sternberg. It's not one, it's not two, it's not three, it's not four. It's way more than that. And they all say the same thing. The goalposts are always moving, and you can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. And that's true based on the results. All right? Whether it's the folks in Tampa and all the businessmen back in 2018 that busted their ass and came up with a plan that wasn't perfect, but was certainly a template to work forward to, that any other owner would have jumped on and got that thing done, where he would have retained naming rights, which were probably worth about $300 million. So all he would have got, and these are just estimates, folks, but about $150 million to get a new stadium done in Tampa. He walked away from that deal. After everybody did the work, he just walked away. You know why? Because he was making so much damn money at the Trop that he didn't want to take any risk. Why take the risk? If I'm pocketing tens of millions of dollars a year because I have no rent to pay at Tropicana Field, why am I going to take any risk at all or use any of my own money to build a new stadium? For the fans, who gives a crap? And that's the whole point. He has never, ever had the community in their best interest. And the amount of flat out lies that this guy has told over the years, and then the St. Pete deal, all the millions of dollars that the people of St. Petersburg and that they spent to get this deal done, and the people of Pinellas County, to just have him walk away and then blame everybody else. He always blames everybody else and gets coverage from the local media with all these ridiculous false narratives. He's been the problem from day one. And for him to go out with these comments and once again blame everybody else is an absolute travesty. And we're not going to let it happen. Other places else can print it and not refute it and whatever. That's fine. But we're going to go through these quotes and tell you what really happened and what's really going on. And the fact of the matter, folks, is he can say all he wants. And the type like this, the headline itself, Stu Sternberg, decision to sell based on keeping Rays in Tampa Bay. Like he's doing this altruistic thing. Oh, I couldn't get the deal done, but I'm going to make sure that the Rays stay in Tampa Bay, and that's all I really care about. What a bunch of horse shit. Not just plain and simple. No, what happened was, in my opinion, in reading reports from Ken Rosenthal, talking to the people that have been a lot involved in this, including the new ownership group and representatives of them, this was not his altruistic move to sell the team, and we all know that. He was forced to sell the team by Major League Baseball. And he was forced to sell it to this group because Major League Baseball knows they can get a deal done in Tampa for the state or have the best chance to do so. They're politically connected and beloved enough in this area and trusted enough in this area, unlike you, Stu. So let me just ask the folks that put out all these great things about Stu Sternberg. If he's such a great and honorable guy, why is nobody in Tampa in political office there willing to work with him? Nobody, because they've worked with him before and they know that he's dishonest and he always moves the goalposts. It costs them millions of dollars to do prep work, and then he just walks away. The people of St. Petersburg and the Pinellas County Commission found out the same thing, even when I warned them. So if he's such a great and honorable and altruistic guy, how come nobody will work with the guy? How come every past mayor of St. Petersburg says the same thing? How come they all say the same stuff? The only ones defending him are people in the media, John Romano and Mark Tompkins. Why? Everybody else seems to get it. Most of the fans get it. There's a few sycophants that maybe Stu knows your name and you think you're a big deal and you're going to support him. Listen, it's not personal for me and Stu. I don't really. It's what he's done to both cities and held up the development in both cities for so long, with the millions and millions of dollars that have been wasted. And the fans. What about the fans? We've been waiting for a new stadium forever. And he never had any intention to do it. He was going to run out the clock at the Trop and just keep pocketing money because the city pays for all the insurance. The city pays for all the security. They pay 50 cents a ticket. That's it, the Rays in rent, basically pay no rent whatsoever. As Richie Floyd said, the city commissioner at SAP, even this with the money they're spending to redo the Trop, he says it's a huge money loser. It's a huge money loser for the city. And the Rays aren't putting heads in beds, not significantly to pay for any return on investment. It's all horseshit. And for anyone to try to canonize this guy as he goes out like, oh, poor Stu, get out of here. Ridiculous. Let me go through some of the quotes. Unless if there's something you'd like to say off the top, Nick, by all means.
Well, mine is just off one of the quotes, I guess, which I think was I think it was probably the quote that you were gonna start off with anyway here. So, yeah, he talked about. Oh my gosh, did I just have the wrong article up? Where is it at? There it is. I've said since the very beginning, and I meant it, I was never going to threaten to move this team. I never did. I believe that's unprecedented in any sport for somebody who's looking for a facility and over a long haul and over some difficult times, and I stuck with it. And in soul searching over the last 10 months, I wanted to make sure I stood by that. And this, to me, gave it the best opportunity to keep this team in Tampa Bay. And I just laugh at that almost. Like, I'm past the point of like, oh, I'm irritated, I'm pissed off, because like at the end of the day, he's gone. He can't hurt me anymore. But that's just a wild thing to say because we all, I mean, maybe you didn't try to take them completely out of Tampa Bay, but you tried to take this team into a half city nonsensical plan that you wasted 2 to 3 years on. This team won 100 games in 2021, and you held a banner during the first wild card plan, hyping up your split city plan, which nobody wanted to go for. And I mean, nobody wanted to go for, and it had zero shot of ever going through. So you wasted time with all that nonsense. So yes, you did threaten to move this team. You can tell me, oh, it was only for half the season. I don't care. Taking any game away from this area is trying to move this team. So you did do that. And I'm not going to have you tell me that you didn't. I gave Stu a little bit of his flowers last week because it is a complicated legacy, so to say, a little bit with Stu because of how much success they had on the field. And I recognize that last week.
Absolutely, we do.
But that does not mean that we turn him into some heroic figure because he was not. He was not.
And the fact of the matter, his brilliance and genius, honestly, in baseball, he won games, was born out of his desire to make money. That's what he said, you know what, we'll do Moneyball, and we're going to, we don't need to go out and spend all this big money on the contracts. We're going to manipulate the system to take these good young, we're going to save, and when it gets to free agency, let all the other teams pay the big money. We'll sell off those guys. Well, I don't care if the fans love them and want to keep them like other teams do, screw that, screw the fans. I want younger, good players so I can keep making more money. And that's the thing. Even when he's such a genius and it was all born out of his greed, so he can make money and keep the payroll low and stay competitive. Yeah, he got good at it, and he manipulated the system and took all the revenue sharing money, so much so that the Players Association had to file grievances almost every single year, and other teams had to talk about these other owners that don't put the money back into the team. He getting $60 million reportedly in revenue shared money and have an $86 million payroll on average with revenues over $300 million. You do the math. Why are all these real small market teams spending way more on payroll? So yes, they won games and he was, quote, genius, but it was all born out of greed. And he didn't care about keeping the star players, which is what the fans like. He could have put the money into doing that, but he put it into his pocket. He could have put the money into the stadium, but he put it into his pocket. How in any way, shape or form, can you cover for that as a person in the media and say it's genius? They've won some games in the regular season. That's great. But his main motivation is the same motivation he's had for the entire time, to put money into his pocket and get the win, get the financial win, get over on Major League Baseball owners, get over on the fans. And you know what? Maybe I'll pay for a little bit of good coverage here and there, and I'll get some cover in the media as well.
It's difficult though, because it is difficult though. And I'm sure you talked about this last week when this article came out, the one about, there was quotes in there from Longo and Joe Madden about Stu. It is difficult because I think Longo put up a good point. Like, they went to 2 World Series, and it's like, if you find a way to win one of those, perhaps it's different. When you win a World Series, it sort of hides other issues, and they still got the 2 of them, but they didn't win one. So maybe it's a little bit different if they had found a way to win one of those World Series. But Longo also kind of said there, when he was playing with the team, he was always that guy that was wondering, like, why aren't we going out to get this player or acquire this player? And we feel like we have a really good team, but why are we never trying to go and get it over the hump? And Joe Madden kind of said the same thing, is that we were really frugal. And people don't want to, I think that's hard to sell to people. Like, hey, we're going to win games and we're going to do it on this cheap budget because this is how we feel like we have to do it, or this is the way we want to do it, whatever. Like, that's a hard thing to sell to people. And it's the fact that, like, you never really, like, Longo was like the longest tenured Ray that we've had, the only one that we got to sort of like fully embrace for a long period of time. And even when his contract sort of got to that point where it was really going to kick in, he was traded. And when Blake Snell's contract was about to kick in, he was traded. It's just sort of been like, it's just like that wheel, right? That just kept on going and going. And because you never had a stadium, it always was like, as I've said many times, not having that stadium and always having to talk about that while they were winning games, it was always that dark cloud that was over everything. And it made it very difficult for us as a fan base, or at least I'll speak to myself, to fully rally around everything good that was happening, because we always had it in the back of our mind, well, we still have to deal with this stadium. We're winning 100 games, but we still have to talk about the stadium. And that became frustrating. It just became frustrating as a fan.
And the point is, he always blamed other people for the stadium. And now we know it wasn't them. It was him all the time. Like, that's not even debatable after what he walked away from in St. Pete. I tried to tell you that when he walked away from it in Tampa. It was a great deal. Listen, all the T's weren't crossed and I's weren't dotted, but it was a template they could have worked from and got the deal done. It happens all the time because you have willing owners that know that's the right thing to do. That's what you spend your money on. You're making all this money. That's what you should have put your money into.
If I recall,
made tons of money.
If I recall, too, on that original Tampa deal, it was around like $800 million or so for the full cost of the stadium at the time.
$892.
And if I recall, he was only willing to do $150 million. I say only. $150 million is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, and when we're talking those numbers, 150, I think, qualifies as only in that situation.
Hey, listen, but Nick, that's less than 3 years of revenue sharing, and you have a stadium for 30 years.
Yeah, and I think his caveat to that.
You say it's a lot of money. They're bringing you a lot of money. Like, baseball makes a lot of money. You have a monopoly in the marketplace. He's getting his revenues are over $300 million a year. The payroll's at $86 million. Do the freaking math. I know there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it, player costs, insurance, all that stuff. But most of the stuff that other people pay for, like stadium costs and maintenance and insurance and all that, he wasn't paying any of it. And he wasn't paying a payroll. And he was cut. And people don't know this because he's been covered for the entire time by most of the people in the media. Nobody talks about it except us.
Yeah. And I also love to, he points it back at the, in this article here, Topkin wrote, he said there wasn't much help from community leaders who in turn said they were more concerned with hurricane recovery issues. And here was the quote: "People didn't come forward rushing. We need to do this. What can we do? How do we do it?" It was all like, it's all you take care of it. If you don't want to do it, you're a piece of crap or whatever. In talking with Patrick Zalewski, I said, this does have to get done. This is the guy who can get something done, and my time has come. I don't even know what you say. I don't even know what you say to that.
The city of St. Petersburg was going to give him $700 million of real estate for $50 million up front. 50. What a ridiculous boondoggle that thing was. And they were also going to pay for half the stadium. You do the math. That's basically free. They were giving you $700 million of real estate to put in your part for the stadium. You didn't have to come up with $700 million. You were basically gifted that in the real estate. Your Hines, your developer, would have paid you that in cash, and you could have sold it the next day the deal was done.
Yeah.
Like it's like for them to say, "Oh, they worked against me." Are you out of your mind? Like it's almost, and I'll still go back to this. The day before the vote in Pinellas, and Commissioner Scott said this, and Brian All talked to him on the phone and said the deal is falling apart. And Brian denied that. He knows he's wrong, or he tried to mischaracterize it. The deal is falling. Stu wanted out of this deal before they even voted the first time. And the vote that was done in November, it didn't have to be done until March by the contract. If you wanted it earlier, Stu, put it in the goddamn contract. They gave you everything you wanted anyway. And to act like that delay turned it around, and there were these huge – every expert that's talked about this said, no, in a year, costs are not going to go up so much. And plus, you said you were going to pay for the cost overruns, which when you said that, I knew you were lying.
Yeah. I think it was lying. Yeah, I think it was just – there were a lot there. Now, you could debate which was the last straw for Stu throughout his tenure. There were so many of them where we thought was the last straw. But if anybody was on his side before, I think him using a natural disaster, one of the worst that we've ever had in this area, maybe the worst, honestly, from a direct hit standpoint, using that as his sort of out for a stadium and then getting into a political, sort of back and forth over this because of a hurricane that rightfully delayed votes on funding for his stadium. It was all about him. It was all about me. Like that to me was the moment where it was like this guy. I mean, we always knew it, but that's just a shady way to do things. And I think if you were looking to gain any public support whatsoever after that, you lost all of it. And I think that was the moment that he really lost any goodwill with the fan base.
This quote, it deserves repeating. People didn't come forward rushing. We need to do this. We can do, or how can we do it? It was all like, it's all you. You take care of it. Who was saying that? They were giving you $750 million as part of the cost of the stadium, paying for half. Who was saying you take care of it? If you don't want to do it, you're a piece of crap or whatever. If you don't want to live up to what you agreed to this. This is why we gave you the real estate for nothing. Because you were going to agree to do your part. And you lied about it. You reneged on the deal a year later. And you blamed a community that's just been devastated by a hurricane. And if the county commission, who was trying to decide, and by the way, the county commission was never not going to pass the bonds. Their delay was only to say, how are we going to do it? Are we going to fund it out? I'm simplifying here. Are we going to pay for it up front, or are we going to fund it through bonds? Because we may also have to fund this beach renourishment, and we don't know yet because we have to hear from the Army Corps of Engineers how much we're going to need to spend on renourishment of the beach, which, by the way, Stu, is kind of a priority in Pinellas. If you don't mind, we're going to take a little breath here, even though it's not contractually, we don't have to do it until March. So we're taking a little breath here to figure out exactly how we're going to pay for it, if you don't mind. Oh, no. You ruined everything, Chris Lotfula. And that's why you're going to get death threats, because we're going to put it out there. Shameful, again, on the Rays and the Times for saying that. And you're still going to get the money. And by the way, they did pass the bonds. And you still blamed everybody else. And then to say, the nerve to say people didn't come forward rushing, like they put it all on you. Yeah, you're a piece of crap or whatever. Yeah, you kind of are. When you stand at the microphone and say all these great things about what you're going to do for the disenfranchised African-American community in the gas plant district and all the great things you're going to do for it, and then just walk away from all that. Yeah.
By the way, I could probably sum up the entire thing like this. When your ownership of a team ends, you leave, whether on your own terms or on someone else's terms, and both sides of the Bay, from a political standpoint, are happy to see you go, and the overwhelming majority of fans are happy to see you go, you're not a heroic figure. You're not. Yeah. I think you could just. I think you could leave it like that. When Jeff Vinnick 2 years ago, whatever it was announced that he was, selling a share of the organization or whatever it was. Do you recall the panic that was in Lightning fans when they heard that? Oh my gosh, Jeff Finnick is not going to own the team anymore? You want to know why? Because Jeff Finnick is one of the best in the effing game at this.
Yeah.
And has been since the moment he stepped in there. And he built up such a goodwill with his fans. That's why everybody was having a panic mode when we heard that Jeff Finnick was no longer to be running the team. If it happened with the Glazers, I bet you there would be the same panic. There's no panic that Stu Sternberg is no longer running the baseball team. There's optimism.
Exactly.
You could sum it up like that as far as I'm concerned.
And this is one of my favorite quotes as well. As far as baseball is concerned, Sternberg said, I can sort of drop the mic. And then Topkin writes, Sternberg's overall legacy, which included several unsuccessful stadium proposals, this drops it like that. Like, it's no big deal. Not that it wasn't his fault that he walked away from. We'll characterize it as several unsuccessful stadium proposals, as well as a split season concept with the team playing some games in Montreal is more complicated. No, it's not. No, it's not. He screwed everybody over. It's not complicated. He continues, right? He noted how he took over a franchise struggling under original owner Vince Naimoli and built it into a success. Quote, I was able to come in and play to my strengths. I'm cheap. Which was take something that was a little screwed up or a lot screwed up and whatever. It's not criticism of Vince because he was the right guy to bring baseball here. I would not have been that guy. As you can see, I'm just not the guy to go butt heads and break arms and threaten and all that stuff. Whatever. However, I was able to take something and nurture it and be able to put it in position to be here for decades and generations, like I've always said. So there's part of it. And then the idea that we've seeded baseball with concepts and, more important, human beings, both on the field and off, and ideas that I do believe will be built upon for decades to come. Well, the thing is, most of the ideas that we built this on, the openers, shifting especially, I did a lot of, has been outlawed in baseball because it was bad for baseball, quite frankly. And if you hear guys like John Smoltz, Hall of Famer, talk about openers and other things that the Rays have done, he said that's bad for baseball in long term. And I agree with him. And you know what the worst thing in baseball is? Cheap owners that put money in their pocket and don't pay the players, don't put it back into the community to get a stadium that's doable in the middle of the market, that's not completely obsolete, and just waiting for a hurricane to blow off the roof. That's all part of baseball and ownership too. You can't separate the two. You can't. Owning a baseball team is more than just putting a winner on the field. And the last 2 years, by the way, Stu, weren't very good, especially this year. And if you look at the entire tenure, yes, they won the third most regular season games, and they did figure out ways to win regular season games, but postseason success has been very elusive.
If you actually break it down
outside of the league gets into playoffs,
if you actually break it down outside of the 2 World Series appearances, like what did the Rays ever do in the postseason?
And one of them was in a shortened season with COVID. So let's not.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to use that because I hate when opponent fans try to.
I know, but from the way they play the game, using up arms, which of course they don't care about that either. I could go.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to downplay it. You made 2 World Series. I enjoyed it very much as a fan. But
fine.
You know.
But in the end, in total, it was a unmitigated disaster for the fans. And the fact, that so many players had to walk and constantly churning the rosters and not be able to get a stadium done because of you, not because of anything else, and then blaming the fans, lying to the fans, telling the fans, you're always going to put the money back into the team. That was another bold-faced lie because you didn't. And then go look at the lawsuit and how you defrauded all your partners so much so that you had to pay a huge settlement. I mean, to act like this guy was anything more than a very selfish, greedy man is really, that's his legacy. And if you're going to be a sports owner and that's who you're going to be and what you're going to be, and the only people that really support him are people that he signs their check in a lot of different ways. Find me somebody else. If you didn't work directly for him or indirectly for him, Who else is supporting him? Nobody. I think that tells a lot. Is that the way it is with Jeffrey Vinnick? No. Is that the way it is with the Glazers? No. It matters what you do in the community. It matters a whole lot what you do in the community. You are given a monopoly in the marketplace for your sport. You're given a lot of public support, especially from the city of St. Petersburg. And people bent over backwards for you. And for you to constantly blame the fans, blame the political leaders, blame the local businesses, while it was you the whole time, is reprehensible. And you can do your tour on the way out and have people write great articles about you, but we're free to speak about it as far as I know. Although, I won't even go into any of that. As much pressure has been put on me not to talk about it, I've done it anyway. And I've done it for the fans and the people of Tampa Bay. And the bottom line is, I still have a show here, and I know he has 10%, and people still support me, and it's not about me. It's about the fans of Tampa Bay. And the bottom line is, you were forced, in my opinion, and I love a lot of other people's opinions and facts, you were forced to sell the team to this group, who the only thing that was right in this, and I think it's worth mentioning, is he does say that Zalupski is the guy to get it done, and this group is to get it done. And that's promising. He said, Sternberg said he feels good about handing the team over to the new group, but admitted he doesn't have a deep knowledge of Zalupski or his partners, who include Bill Cosgrove, Ken Babby, Dan Doyle Jr., Rick Workman, Fred Ridley, and others said to be from the Tampa Bay area who have not yet been announced. Quote, I did make a choice, debatable, and I thought that they seemed to be the right people to do it. Whether they were snowing me or not, I don't think so. I'm a pretty good reader of people. But having said that, it's going to be their field to hoe. It's not a criticism. I can't completely vouch for them. Everything I've seen is that people should be optimistic that they have a really nice group of people. They have an energetic group of people. They have people that really want to own the business baseball team and run this baseball team. And that doesn't happen quite often. A lot of times people want to own a baseball team. I wanted to own a baseball team. So, yeah. So at least he believes, and if you want to believe him, that he sold this group and handpicked this group because they can get a stadium done in Tampa and he can't. You can believe that. I believe something differently. I believe Major League Baseball handpicked this group and knows that they can get a stadium done in here and forced to sell the team. And I think every part of his being and everything that he's done, the outward things that you can see, if it was left up to him, it would still be for sale. He'd be waiting to get the top dollar, leading everybody along, just trying to keep making money. And Major League Baseball said, I'm sorry, you're done. You're going to stop gaming the system. You're going to stop gaming of the other owners. We're going to put it, and we're going to get a stadium done here in Tampa so that for generations to come, baseball fans can sit in a nice air-conditioned place in Tampa in the middle of the market with an owner who's going to put money back into the team, not into his pocket. That's your legacy, in my opinion. All right, we'll take another break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get to Ryder Cup. I want to get to more of your comments. If you'd like to comment on that, what we just did right there, a little bit of the other NFL and some college as well. But we are brought to you by Don'tGoUncovered.com. There's open enrollment season for health insurance. So if you're looking for new health insurance, let them shop it around for you. Go to Don'tGoUncovered.com. That's the website. Get the phone number right there. Give them a call. The agents are waiting, and they'll help you and walk you through the whole thing. Just give them a little bit of your financial information, and they'll be able to tell you how much of a subsidy you may be able to get. It's Don'tGoUncovered.com. Just give them a call. Try it out. Back in 3.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. as well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by the great folks at thirdgenerationplumbing.com and American Standard Air Conditioning and Heating, the dynamic duo there. If you need a new unit, if yours is on its last legs, American Standard Heating and Cooling and Third Generation Plumbing will take care of you. They got the best deals, the best efficiency, and the best product. American Standard Heating and AC and Third Generation Plumbing will get the job done. Just give them a call. Go to the website, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Of course, they also do AC, and they will take care of you. Great folks over there. John Rodriguez and the group have been in business since 1995. They have a ton of five-star reviews. So get the great service, the honesty, the great folks, the real price. I'm not going to try to upsell you, and the great product at American Standard Heating and Cooling. All right, let's get back to some of the comments here real quick, Nikki. Jimmy J. Voyager has given us a super chat. It says, are there any updates following Ken Hagan's meeting with the new owners last Friday, and any date yet for the sale press conference? I expect the press conference to happen this week. Don't know exactly the day and time just yet. I did reach out to Ken Hagan about that meeting on Friday and have not heard back from him yet, but I will double my efforts today, Jimmy J. Voyager, and see what we can come up with. And I'll have the updates on social media and on the show tomorrow. All right. James says, no way I will put any blame on Baker. He obviously was playing hurt too. He played as good as he could. Wide receiver room was a strength and now not. O-line a strength and now not. Quarterback a strength, but now. Great comments. Great comments all. Somebody else asked me if I thought Baker's injury was an issue. I would say yes. I think it was an issue. He didn't look right to me. I don't think it was a major issue, but I don't think he was as good as he normally is.
No, but I mean, it's just hard to. It's just eventually it's too much to ask to operate with such dysfunction in front of you. And the PFF grades came in, no surprise. Bredesen, Haggard, Heck, Barton, all graded under 45 yesterday, which is, almost as bad as you can get. All four of them, that bad. It's just so much. There's so much dysfunction. And Baker, sometimes when he's done a great job this year of somehow navigating it, but yesterday he had some bad habits from the last couple years that sort of crept in a little bit.
I asked Graham Barton, and we'll get some of this sound on the show tomorrow. I asked Graham Barton, basically I was going through, you guys have been so injured and you won 3 games and now you're playing against this team, blah, 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 blah. And I was the whole build up to the question. He's just looking at me like this, I kind of smiling and nodding. And like you guys have no idea how hard this is. You have no idea how hard this is in the NFL to go up against these guys and have any semblance of a good offensive line. And they won 3 games doing it. Mm-hmm. And they almost won this. They almost stole this one as well. So, and without Mike Evans, with the corners going down, without Kalijah Kancey, it's tough.
It's amazing though. During the show that we have on, I always keep national shows on just to in the background. It's amazing that the Eagles won that football game and were dominating it for the first half at least. The things the national people are talking about is all about AJ Brown and Saquon not doing their part and all that stuff. Everybody's worrying about the Eagles and how they had this how they just can't get it going offensively. It's just sort of I don't know. People seem to be kind of giving the Bucs a little bit of the credit today, for sort of shutting down those guys. And I think that's why, I'm not as doom and gloom about it. I truly feel that if these two teams face each other in January, I think the Bucs will be much more equipped to go head to head with them. I really do. And they still almost pulled it off yesterday.
James says you can't handicap injuries. Who knows if Gedeke will ever be healthy? We extend players who are always injured. If his injury was so iffy, why did he play against the Texans? When will the Bucs be healthy? Maybe never. Well, James, good points. But it is football, and guys are going to get injured. And I think the Bucs' loyalty that they show to these players pays off more often than it doesn't. It pays off when you sign Baker for lower. It pays off when you sign Mike Evans for lower. It pays off when Lavonte David comes back. It pays off when Gedeke signs for maybe lower than market value. All these guys, and I would rather be the organization that is being loyal. Did it pay off when we re-signed Godwin the first time after the knee injury? I'm going to say yes. And when you have guys of this character and ability, that's why. Listen, this is why the Bucs have been to the playoffs 5 years in a row. What are we complaining about? Are you really complaining about what the organization is doing in re-signing players? Really? Because The Athletic and most every other publication, when it comes to grading front offices, has given Jason Light and the Bucs an A plus, and I agree with you.
Them and the Eagles really are two of the gold standards in regards to drafts player, develop player, sign player quickly with no issues. That's how it should be done.
I want to get some other topics here. Michael LaRue says College game day will be at Alabama versus powerhouse Vanderbilt. How is Alabama ranked 8 spots higher in the polls than Florida State? Nobody wants to hear me continue to bellyache about how FSU gets screwed. But did I not tell you? Like I told you, the stadium was never going to get built. Did I not tell you that game day ain't coming for Florida State and Miami? And I'm going to tell you this, Nick, and I know what you're going to say. Even if Florida State would have won.
No, that's not what I'm going to say. That's not what I'm going to. No, I think I had heard that they were already like Florida State people were they were already sending out emails and stuff like that. Like they were basically like told as long as they beat Virginia, they were going to have College Game Day. And I guess my issue, JP, I understand you lost to Virginia in double overtime. By the way, let's not act like Virginia is just some, horrible football team that pulled off an upset or something like that. Like Virginia, I'm not saying Florida State should have lost that game. Okay. You should take care of business, but whatever, it happened. It was a double overtime game. Why should that completely tank College Game Day from still going to what is still going to be the most hyped matchup between two of the biggest rivals in the history of this sport in the last 20 years? Why should that one loss just completely erase that storyline and how big of a deal that still is, especially a place you haven't been in 12 years? So you could go to Alabama for the 1500th time, when they're playing Georgia, not when they're playing Tennessee, not when they're playing, whoever in the Texas A&M, blah, blah, blah. When they're playing Vanderbilt, and nothing against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's having a really strong season. I'm happy to see them getting the respect in the polls and everything. You got the storyline of last year, how Vanderbilt beat them, and now here we go. But Vanderbilt in Alabama, if it was at Vanderbilt, I would understand. It's at Alabama. That does not trump Florida State and Miami to the point of Alabama being ranked ahead of Florida State in the polls. This is what happens. Once you get more of a data size, I understand Florida State beat Bama, whatever, but we have more sample size now. Alabama just beat Georgia, who was a top 5 team. It just sort of happens that way. The loss for Florida State is far worse than the loss that Alabama had. And then Alabama just went and beat a Georgia team on the road by 3, a team that had won 33 consecutive home games. I got no issue at this point now with Bama being ranked ahead of Florida State. It was going to happen because at that argument, do you want to put Virginia ahead of Alabama? If you want to play that game, you're not going to do that. So I'm not as jumped up about that, but I still think it's ridiculous that game day chose Bama Vanderbilt.
100%. And if you don't think there's an agenda against it, you're just not paying attention. You can say, oh, you guys bellyache about everything. You kept us out of the playoff when we were 13-0. Never been done before, ever. You're not going to do game day. When Lee Corso was putting on his final headgear, where he played at Florida State, he didn't play at Ohio State. He just happened to be there the first time he did game day. That was just an excuse. And here's another one. Michael LaRue says, Florida, Texas, Southern Cal, other big programs don't play weekday road games. Why does Florida State always seem to play weekday road games? I can't remember if FSU hosting a weekday home game. Because who makes the schedule, Michael? The conference schedule. The ACC. Who did we sue?
They still need to win that.
The ACC.
You. I don't care when the game is played. You still got to find a way to win.
Well, you got to go against the ACC refs as well.
I understand.
4 critical bullshit calls in that game.
I understand, but Florida State.
They go, either one of them go the other way.
Virginia was begging Florida State to take that game away from them. They were begging Florida State to take that game. They never took it away from them.
I'm not saying FSU was a great football team. I just want a level playing field. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Stop screwing us over. And we got another Friday night game. Guess what? On the road in the ACC at NC State on a Friday night. The SEC doesn't do this to Alabama or to Georgia. They don't send them to Starkville on Thursday or Friday night, do they? No, because they're a real conference who understands that you don't handicap your best teams. You promote your best teams. And ESPN knows that their bread is buttered with the SEC now. So are they going to choose the ACC over the SEC for College Game Day? Fuck no. And anybody who thinks we're not getting screwed, you're not being real. You're not being real.
I mean, maybe you should just take the mindset of to hell with them and F them and all that stuff and don't worry about it. If they don't want to come here, they don't want to come here. Keep doing your own thing and try to just go win a football game against Miami, because at the end of the day, FSU's. Everybody had inflated expectations after Bama, and we were talking about playoffs and stuff like that. Well, the reality of the situation is Florida State has to go win this football game if they realistically want to have a shot to make the playoff. I mean, that's kind of where it's at. So
by the way, did you see the field storming of the Virginia students?
That was insane.
That was bad, bro. I'm all for field storming. I'm fine with it, but not like that. The second Squirrel White in that Virginia corner hit the ground, they were on it like that. It was a wave, and it was like a wave of people. There's no fence there. Nobody has to jump over anything. And like there's no barrier whatsoever. And they're just on the field in a second. Like I think we're gonna do this. And again, I have no problem with coming onto the field. I really don't. But let's do it safely. Come on. Like I mean, that was really bad.
Speaking of, a little bit different, but bad fan conduct. I feel like we got to talk about the Ryder Cup for a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
I spent much of my weekend actually watching this, and I know that the U.S. was getting pummeled, and so many people were like, "Well, I guess I could just turn it off." But listen, you wait 2 years for it to come. It's my favorite thing about golf is the Ryder Cup. I was locked in all weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this entire event, JP, was a travesty. All from every angle, I thought this Ryder Cup was horrible. And the reason why I thought that was you start off with Bethpage Black, which is supposed to be one of the most difficult golf courses out there in the country, right? And it has that reputation. And the way it was sort of set up, especially with I think they had the second cut was cut extremely short compared to normal standards. Like this thing had
cut it lower than what the public plays.
Yeah, like this thing had no bite, no teeth to it whatsoever.
It was a birdie. It was a putting fest. It was a birdie fest.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
you totally played into the hands of the European, and it was a par 70. You totally played into the hands of the Europeans. We do the dumbest shit. We do that. We pick the worst captains who do the dumbest shit, and our crowd. You people grow the F up. You New Yorkers or whoever you're Long Islanders, grow the F up. I'm just embarrassed as an American that you got. Oh, whoa, Rory! I hope you and your wife and daughter die of cancer. Oh, good for you. What a great comment.
They had to put up a sign, I think, asking people. I can't believe we have to do this. We have to remind people, hey, please don't use hate speech towards the professional athletes that are right in front of you and their families. Let's please not do that. But then when they put it up, they booed it. The fans booed it. So obviously any American should be embarrassed by the fan conduct the entire weekend with what these guys had to deal with. It turned into Saturday. It was almost like golf was so secondary. It was all about all the other drama that was going on. So I didn't like that. I hate the fact that these tournaments and these events, all these big events, it's like it prices out the hardcore fan. I mean, I heard the tickets were going for $750 to get in. $750 was the starting point to go to the Ryder Cup. They didn't have a lot to cheer for, so the energy was kind of wonky for the first 2 days, of course, and they got into it yesterday a little bit. And then the way the U.S. performed for the first 2 days, I mean, it was an absolute
embarrassment.
The pairings. I mean, I'm sure you saw this. The Morikawa English pairing was literally of 132 possible combinations. That was that was ranked last. Right. They put him out there twice against.
Why did after they got stopped the first time? What was Keegan's reasoning for putting him out again the second time?
We're gonna stick to the plan as we're down by 4 points after day one.
And the other one was, they really wanted to go back out. So they, come on, Keegan, I'm telling you, man, we're really charged up and we're ready to go now. We sucked the first two. We're going to go out there and really get them. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is why we make choices. We don't make choices to win. We make choices so people don't get their feelings hurt. Oh, Morikawa is number 6 and he's been playing like shit for a year, but we don't want his feelings to get hurt. So let's make sure we put him on the team. F that.
JP, take away whatever the Zozo championship is. that was played in October 2023, which is after the season, Colin Morikawa has not won a golf tournament since July 18th, 2021. Why was he even on the team to begin with?
That was my birthday.
You
I was still in my 50s.
You want to know why he was on the team? You want to know why he was on the team? Because I had to watch 100 times throughout the golf coverage, and my goodness, was I watching a lot of commercials during my Ryder Cup coverage.
Oh, yeah.
How many commercials did you see with Colin Morikawa in it? Yeah. Everyone. That's why he's on this team.
And he's got fans? Who's a fan of Colin Morikawa? Like, if you watched him on Full Swing, what an asshole. The guy's the most unlikable dude ever. Like, who's even fans of this guy?
I don't know.
What? That's probably why he's on the team, because the people that are paying him ridiculous amounts of money to represent their company, the sponsors said he's got to be on the team and he's got to play. I guarantee you that's what happened.
Yeah, and how about too? Like, again, you and Scotty Scheffler also going 0-3 or 0-4 to start the tournament is not ideal either. Your best player needs to be your best player. Full stop.
Yes.
But also, I mean, even to start the tournament, Cam Young, the guy who knows the golf course like the back of his hand, especially knowing that it's going to play favorable to golfers, he sits to start the tournament. JJ Spawn, everybody not named Scotty Scheffler. If everybody who played golf this year not named Scotty Scheffler, name me one player who had a better 2025 than JJ Spawn. I'll wait.
And how many times did he play?
Wait. He didn't even start. Start.
Right. Because we got to back kowtow to the sponsors and the names instead of putting together people that know how to win.
Yeah, and don't even get me started with the Team Europe, the way that they just seem to have this bond that you can't break, and the brotherhood they show, the emotion they show. They're just into
community.
It more. They're just into it more.
Their culture is one of community and supporting each other. Our culture is all about ourselves.
And maybe that's why these guys played better when they got to play by themselves with their own ball. I heard that was one of the reasons why Spawn didn't play in group pairings was because he couldn't play with someone else's ball because his ball spun differently and all this nonsense that I had to hear about. Figure it out.
And the bottom line, it comes down to putting anyway, especially when you set the course up that way. So balls don't make that much of a difference. I know proximity to putting, but when it comes down to it, they have the nuts to stand over a putt and not get nervous and knock it in the hole. Where our guys were missing.
Did you see Henley? Henley yesterday, 2 putts I need you to make at the end there to keep it going, and he leaves them both short, and they were like 10 putts. I don't know.
Douglas Batista says the Tampa Bay Times is Stu's platform to repair his damaged reputation. Yesterday's article was Stu cliche quotes about having Tampa Bay's best interest. Complete BS. We need new outlet for Tampa Bay baseball. Topkin and Romano, awful. Well, we got the Big O show. And by the way, Douglas wrote us a great review of the Big O show that I wanted to share with you guys real quick. He says, the Big O show is outstanding. We need a credible local baseball podcast that covers the Rays and overall league. I listened to Locked On. They are good guys, but lack the analysis and experience. I also listen to the national guys, Foul Territory, but they don't cover the Rays. And I won't listen to Retcher because he invites Topkin and Romano on. It's a good idea. The education or entertainment value you guys are bringing is terrific. Encourage you to continue and let me know what I can do to help spread the word. We will let you know, Douglas. Thank you very much for that. So, the Big O show, go back and check it out. You can find it right there on your YouTube page, FanStream Sports Tampa. It's on Apple and Spotify as well. And the one we did with Matt Boyer, Otani's interpreter's bookie is really, really good. You got to check that out. Kenneth McClary says, how can the reporters not laugh in his face when he says that he's selling it to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay area? He was trying to take the team to Montreal. Because they've been, those guys, those reporters at the Times. Listen, I know Mr. Vinnick gave the Times tens of millions of dollars to stay afloat. I heard the number was $60 million. I don't know that to be a fact, but I've heard that. And that was great. I don't know how much Sternberg gave, but I think it was a significant amount of money. But I don't know. And I wish they would say. Tampa Bay Times, how much did Stu Sternberg give you guys in donations? I would like to know that. Maybe I'll put a formal question to the Poynter Institute that owns the Tampa Bay Times and see what that number is. I think that should be public. If you in the interest of transparency at the Poynter Institute, please tell us how much money has been gifted by all parties to the Tampa Bay Times, from political parties, from ownership groups, everything. I think that would be great to know. What else we got? Bucs lose to a team that didn't complete a pass in the second half at home, says Ric Flair. I don't think it's actually Ric Flair, but or Ric Flair, you could say the Bucs did not allow a completion in the second half. You know, there's two teams out there.
There was also there was some comment up here too about something about how the Eagles. Yeah, here it was. Andre all day 20. Eagles aren't elite this year. The Bucs held them to 19 yards and 6 punts in the second half, cut down on the mistakes, and the Bucs win like they did last year. Yeah, it never. It's isn't it true that the Eagles it never looks. I don't know what the word is, like smooth, clean. I don't know, but my God, they just find ways to win football games. So who am I to judge? Who am I to judge what it looks like for the Eagles?
Andre Alday said Stu blamed the others even after the bonds were approved so he could shut down the deal. Good riddance. I know, it's so silly. And none of that stuff is ever mentioned in the Times. Crazy. Good question here by Danny Boy Kane. Does the new ownership make a play for Pete Alonso? Very interesting. He opted out of his contract. And unlike Kyle Tucker, who does not want to play in the Trop,
I can't believe Pete said that right after they finish off their complete collapse this year, like crazy collapse. He immediately goes, "Yeah, I'm opting out."
Why would he want to play there again? There's something screwy going on there.
I don't know. I mean, you talk about I wish my owner would spend money like they do, but the fact that they spent all that money and did not make the postseason in the current MLB playoff setup is is embarrassing.
Crazy. Michael LaRue says this from Greg Allman. When the special teams coach Thomas McGahee, I'm not sure how to pronounce McGahee, was with the Giants from 2018 to 2023, they allowed 4 blocked punts. Only 3 teams, Vikings, Rams, and Chargers, with 5 gave up more. So we now have the special teams coach that allows a lot of blocked punts and the punter who has led the league 3 times in blocked punts. And will lead the league again this year.
So you're saying the Bucs did this to themselves?
I'm saying it should not be unexpected. And for God's sakes, let's fix it. All right. Anything else? I'm sorry we can't read every single thing here.
Did you get a text from Rondé at all this week? Did you reach out to Rondé to let him know that he broke your heart?
I did actually. I did reach out. He didn't see the game because he was on a plane to Dublin. He was one of the ambassadors for the Dublin game over there. And he did not get robbed.
I was just about to follow up with that. He did not. Did he not? I don't mean to make a joke out of that, but I hope he did not get jumped and robbed.
He did not. No, he did not. Let me see here. What else we got here? Meets McGee. Good to see you in here, my friend. Benjamin Morrison strapped A.J. Brown's ass. I was so impressed. Yeah. For everybody, like, it's so funny, you know, and you talk about the national media. You know, it is 100% true. It's like, oh, the Eagles couldn't complete a pass in the second half. No, the Bucs were on their ass. The pass rush was great, and the receivers weren't open.
Yeah, so like they're just making it. They're making it like an A.J. Brown thing, and I guess A.J. Brown had some like scripture that he tweeted after the game about not being wanted or something like that, and they were like trying to debate, was this something or was this nothing? And it's like the guy got 9 targets. He got 9 targets, but the Bucs they did a good job on him.
All right, I think that's most of it. Thank you guys for jumping in here. We went a little long. Timmy will not be happy with us, but that's the way it goes. I think we covered everything. Thank you guys so much. What did we miss? Did we miss anything else? All right, Cowboys Packers was crazy. We'll get to a lot of the other stuff tomorrow. Scott Reynolds will join us tomorrow as well. TJ Reeves will join us as well. Nick, great job. Anything else you want to get out there? We got pro football tonight, so check that out. We will be back tomorrow with a all 22 report on the Buccaneers game, and we will see you then.